Hey, what's up? So many people think this book is out of date. They're crazy. This book, the Bible, yes, the Bible, that's the book for me. This is an incredible book full of ancient stories of true life people who lived everyday lives like you and I, and God, the creator of the universe, was interacting in them. And we see through their victories and we see through their mistakes ways that we should and should not live our life today. And so today I want to talk to you about a guy by the name of Abraham. Abraham's a guy we've been talking about in these past few videos. And Abraham, God had come to Abraham and he had promised him that he was going to have many children. And he promised him that there was going to be a blessing that came through his son and through his lineage. The problem is that Abraham and his wife Sarah, they didn't have any children. They had not had any children yet. So here's the thing. God had promised Abraham, I'm going to give you many children. And Abraham is a married man. So if Abraham is a married man through Sarah, who do you think the children are going to come through? They're supposed to come through Sarah. Sarah is the conduit that God's blessing was going to come to Abraham. And that is so important for us to remember. God promised Abraham a child. He is married to Sarah. So Abraham's child, God's blessing, is going to come through the gift of Sarah. But here's an interesting thing that Abraham does. He does a lot of crazy things. But we're just going to talk about these two that I think this one that we can learn from. At one time in Genesis chapter 12, we see that Abraham goes down to Egypt. And when he goes down to Egypt, his wife Sarah is beautiful, and he doesn't want to, back then, if a king or a pharaoh or a leader saw a beautiful woman coming into the city or into the village, he might take that woman as his bride or as his wife, and he might kill the husband so that he can have the woman. Abraham's wife Sarah was pretty beautiful. She was attractive. So Abraham tells Sarah, tell these Egyptians that you are my sister. The Pharaoh finds out that Sarah's in town. He then takes Sarah from Abraham. Abraham gave Sarah away. Who's the blessing going to come through? Sarah. And Abraham gave Sarah away in Egypt. God then, knowing that the blessing is going to come through Sarah, he comes in and he rescues her and he brings her back to Abraham, and they go on their way. But just a few chapters later, several years later in Abraham's life, do you know what? He does it again. They still haven't had any kids. The promise is still there. In fact, God comes back and tells them again, I'm going to bless your children and your children's children. And Abraham meets this king named Abimelech, and Abraham gives Sarah away again. Sarah is his wife, number one, but Sarah is also the key. She is the conduit. She is the gift that God's going to use to give Abraham his blessing. And on two occasions, Abraham quits on Sarah and willingly gives her away. And God both times brings her back into the fold. And eventually, you know what? God keeps his word in spite of Abraham. And Sarah has a son, who goes on to have many sons. What does this have to do with us today? Here's what I want to let you know. God has a blessing that he wants to give you. God has put something in your heart this year that he wants you to do. For some of you, it might be to take care of your family financially. For some of you, it might be to lose some weight and to take care of your body in a healthy way. For some of you, it might be to renew a relationship with your spouse and get your marriage going to a whole new level. Do you know what? In every single instance, there's a Sarah that's the conduit that's going to bring that change. There's a Sarah for you that's going to be the conduit that brings that blessing. Don't give it away. Let me explain what I mean. If you are wanting to take care of your family financially, don't quit your job. I know your job's tough and I know it's frustrating. Don't quit your job, because it is your job that is the conduit that brings financial blessing into your home. Don't quit your job and go from one job to the next job to the next job. No, stick with it. If you want to lose weight, don't quit working out. I know it's tough, and I know you don't see any changes, and I know it hasn't happened yet, and I know you look down and think, oh my gosh, I look horrible. I get that. I understand that. But what's going to happen if you quit working out? If you give Sarah away, you're not going to have any children. If you stop working out, you're not going to lose the weight. Don't quit. Don't give it away. If you want to go to a new level in your marriage, don't throw away the idea of going to a marriage retreat. Don't throw away the idea of downloading a free marriage masterclass. I put the link right above if you want it. It's absolutely free. Don't throw it away. Take advantage of it. God has something that He wants for you. There's something that you desire. And God has given you a Sarah. God has given you a job. God has given you the ability to work out. God has given you marriage masterclass. God has given you whatever it is to get you to the thing that He wants you to have, to get you to the thing that you want. And far too many times, we, like Abraham, willingly quit on it. And we willingly give it away. No more. Don't give away your blessing. Stay with it. Stay with it. Eventually, the child came through Sarah. God kept His word. And eventually, the blessing will come your way. The change will come your way. Scripture says this, and I'll close with this. Scripture says that don't be weary of doing good, for in due season you will reap if you don't stop. Oh, I love the Bible. There's so many lessons that we can apply today. Listen, if I can help you, if we can serve you in any way, drop me an email, comment below. God bless.